Gotta click the go live button. Oh. Yep. Good now.
We're good? Are we live now?
Yeah.
Huh.
We are?
There was a button called the go live button.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not sure where these definitions are.
Okay. So we're good? We got some people in now?
I can't see it on the thing yet, but
We are.
Yeah.
It is live, yep.
It's live now?
Yep, it's live.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There was a go live button.
Okay, cool. We're good. We're good now.
There was a go live button. Who'd have thought?
yeah, you're on.
Oh, there's a bit of delay. Can we turn off the sound there?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Okay. Righto. Thank you, everybody, for joining us at this meetup for the month. So my name's Liam, and I'm here with Darcy, both of us from Safi. And this month we're going to be essentially learning how to code some of the old school games with Python, particularly Pong. It's going to be the focus today, right?
Yep.
And so this is a really beginner course for everybody out there, because essentially what we're going to be doing is Darcy's going to be teaching me how to code Pong, and I've got absolutely no idea how to code myself. So it's going to be very basic, but I think we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot about it.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to throw over to Darcy right now, and he's going to get us started.
All right. Hopefully by the end of this course, you'll have everything you need to program Python, well, almost anything in Python, really, because Pong touches almost every aspect of Python. So let's just get into it. So we're going to be using Python as well as the Pygame framework. The Pygame framework is a really easy way to create games. If you've ever worked with ActionScript or played Flash games, it's very, very similar. And the syntax, we will be deferring to the side every so often. So you can see that programming is not about knowing everything. It's about knowing how to access resources to get through a project. Python is easy to use, versatile, powerful, etc. It's great for AI. It's not great for programming if you're familiar with more rigorous language. If you're a beginner, perfect. You'll take to this like a duck to water. People like me who started out in C, because it's so rigorous, Python sometimes is a little bit frustrating. But we'll see. So we're going to set up with Visual Studio Code. So
Okay.
if you want to...
So I'm just throwing that in my browser.
Yep, just type in VS Code
VS
and
Code.
download that. So programming, you always use an IDE. It doesn't matter what IDE you use. It can be whatever you prefer. Visual Studio VS Code is very lightweight, and it accommodates all the languages. You do have options like Eclipse, but yeah, VS Code is just the easiest at the moment. So you just want to go download that.
Yep. So I've clicked on that one, and now
Download it in the corner here.
Yeah. Got him.
Oh, sweet.
On the side here.
And while you're at it, might as well go grab Python 3.82.
Python.
Yep.
3.82, you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is just the latest version of Python.
Okay. Cool.
And you want to scroll up a bit.
Yep.
Be there somewhere.
What are we looking at? Downloads?
Yeah, there we go.
And then download for Windows.
Perfect.
So I hope everybody's already up to that. Okay, so I've got my VS Code down, so I show it in my folder.
Or just go open.
Just open it.
Accept the terms and conditions without reading them.
Absolutely. Oh, I read them. We're going to be sitting here for a while.
All right.
I'm thorough. Install.
Yep.
Sweet.
And same with the Python.
And then for everybody who's got the Python 3.82, download that, open that, install,
And add 3.8 to path.
and add 3.8.
Just tick all the checkboxes.
And then install now.
Yep.
Yes.
I hope you're the admin.
I would hope so. Yeah, absolutely.
And then while you're doing that, in a new tab, go to, we will get the project, this images mainly.
Yep.
We're not going to get the code itself because that's just cheating.
Okay.
So just type in Code the Classics, GitHub.
Code the Classics, GitHub.
And then, yep, the first link,
First link.
Wireframe Magazine.
Wireframe magazine. Okay.
And
Yep.
you're just going to go clone or download over the green button in the corner.
Clone or download.
And download zip.
And then download zip. I hope we haven't lost anybody so far. So let's refresh. We've gone down and we've downloaded Microsoft Visual Studio.
Yep.
Right. And then installed that. And then we've gone onto Python and typed in Python 3.82, correct?
Yep. Or just Python.
Or
And
just
install the
Python.
latest release.
And then installed the latest release. And then now we've just gone to what have we done? GitHub, code the classics.
Which is where you'll find the source code for this project.
And then the Wireframe magazine, which
Yep.
should be the top result.
Yep. And then you'll want to go clone or download. And then we'll go open it.
Let me open it here. Yep.
Yep.
Sweet. Extract it.
If you can extract the whole thing if you want. That's got all the other examples that we won't be doing as well.
Oh, okay. No, let's just leave it there then.
Just open that folder in that zip file and then boing.
Yep.
Double click on that. And then you only want that images folder.
Okay.
And just drag that whole images folder to your desktop for the moment.
To the desktop. Okay.
Yep.
Can do.
And it's pretty small, so it should be done pretty quickly.
Sweet. Yep.
And then once that's done,
We go to desktop.
yeah, might as well go to your desktop and create a new folder where we'll on your desktop. So not in
Okay.
the images folder,
Not in the images folder.
not in the images folder,
Okay.
just on your desktop. And we're going to call that workspace.
Workspace.
Yep. And that's going to be where we're putting all the code for this project.
I've got
And-
so many tabs open right now. That's scary. I've got that anxiety to close tabs. And so I just leave everything open all the time.
In case you need that information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fully understand.
So I'm on struggle street just trying to get to my desktop right now. I've got Word documents open. Got Slack. I've got images. Oh, this is all good. Okay.
Almost there.
It's actually embarrassing, isn't it? like a-
it happens to everybody.
Filthy room there. Okay, now I can create a folder here, correct?
Yep, and you're going to create a folder called Workspace,
Yep. So
or whatever you want to call your a folder. Workspace makes sense though. It's where you're going to be doing the work today, all
righto.
this evening.
So we're going to new folder, putting that there. And sorry, what do you want to name it? Let's give it a jazzy name,
Oh, cool. For sure. Give it a jazzy name,
like a Python,
Python name,
Pythony.
like so not appearing in this film.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna call it Anaconda.
Oh, that'll do. That just happens to be
Well, that's what I think of when I think Python. When I think snakes.
Anaconda. Just happens to be Python's machine learning
Right.
libraries.
Okay.
And
So
so now you're going to drag the images folder inside to your workspace that you've called Anaconda.
yep. Okay, now it's in there.
Yep. And
Okay,
then
perfect.
we're going to open Visual Studio Code.
Yep. Where have I got that? Maybe I've deleted that in my haste to
You've probably closed the
to
tab.
shut everything down. So that's gonna be in downloads, isn't it?
Yep. So it should just be in your Windows.
Just here.
Yep. Should be in there as newly installed.
Ah, okay.
If you scroll down.
Like
There it
expand.
is.
Visual Studio.
Yep.
Cool.
VS Code.
And then I also want to be making. Also
Nothing
wanna
else,
Open that
just
up.
VS
No,
Code at the
just
moment.
VS Code. Okay.
And then we will go open folder.
Open folder.
Just on that start section and open Anaconda on the desktop.
Okay, so desktop, Anaconda, images.
Just select
Is that
folder now
select
that you're in
folder?
Anaconda.
Yep.
And then press the little X next to welcome. Don't really need that.
There. Yeah.
And go file,
Oh, up here.
new
Yep.
file.
New file.
And then you're going to go file, save as.
And then we're going to be saving it there.
Yep. And give the game, this is what going to be what you're calling the game. You can call it poem, you can call it tribute, you can call it whatever you like. Preferably all one word.
Yep. Okay, let's just go Pong.
Alright,
Let's keep it simple.
just delete that space you got behind the G there.
Behind it. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
and then where it says save as type,
Yep.
if it doesn't have Python in that drop down list, which it may not,
Doesn't look like it.
keep scrolling.
'Cause
Yeah, there it is, there's Python.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Otherwise, you'd put .py at the end of it.
Okay.
So save.
At the end of this, if
Yeah.
I didn't have it.
It's just after the
Okay.
name. Yeah.
So save that.
And now you have a Python file.
Sweet.
And then Visual Studio Code is going to come up with all these offers, such as installing extensions for Python files.
Yeah.
Strongly recommend you install those.
So install them as they come up.
Yep, install them as they come up.
They should just go in the background, right?
Yep, and then you just navigate back to the file.
Up here.
So
here.
just there. It's 2 pages crossed over each other.
Yep.
All right, and then the last thing we're going to go do is open Command Prompt Admin. So
Down here.
right click on the windows.
On the windows down the bottom.
Yep.
I'll set up a second shot just so we can see what you're doing on that screen.
Yep.
That'd be really good.
And you're going to go PowerShell Admin.
PowerShell admin.
Yep.
Righto. And then go yes.
Yes.
We haven't lost anybody, have we?
No.
Sweet.
It's chat, by the way.
Cool.
Oh, awesome. So if anybody has any issues or have missed any steps or anything, just
Yeah,
throw us a message onto the YouTube.
that's the idea.
Perfect. Stating the obvious,
Throw-
Liam. Come on, man.
Throw
Jeez.
streamers.
Right. So on the screen you can see I've got, if you've got Windows or if you've got Mac, we've got some issues at the moment. I've been trying to get it running on Mac. So if you're using Mac, I'm sorry, this may not work for you. But if you're using Windows, in Command Prompt Admin or Windows PowerShell, just type in pip install pg0.
Right here.
Yep.
Pip
Space
space install pg0.
and press enter.
Sweet. And then
Now-
should I install this thing on the side?
Yes. If
Yep.
it's a linter, yes, it will help you set out your code neatly.
Okay. All kinds of numbers coming up here.
That's just in terminal. We'll use that bit later.
Righto. So I've gotten out of my little workspace thing, so what have I got to go back into?
You're still in your workspace.
I am?
Yep, you're still in your file names at the top there.
Okay.
And so quickly jump back over to your command prompt, your PowerShell,
My
You get
workshop?
down here. Your terminal.
This thing?
Next one
This
over.
thing.
Yeah, that one.
Yep.
Hopefully it's doing something. Pressed enter, alright.
Yeah, I did press enter. So
Okay.
I've gone pip install pg0. Press enter. Should I try it again?
No, it should just install now that you've got Python on there.
Yep.
Connected to the internet, of course.
Yep.
I can't imagine what's going to what's
So we just got to wait, do we?
Yeah. Otherwise, if that's not working, Control C, it will stop that command,
Right.
or it's Control X. I can't remember, Mac or Windows. And then we'll type it into our terminal in VS Code instead.
Okay. So should we do that considering that nothing's happening?
Yeah, just in
So
case.
Control C.
Yep.
So we've got.
Access denied. What?
Why is that the case?
But
So I'm guessing that this is a pretty recurring theme in coding.
yeah, you get strange errors that just happen when you least expect it, and then you immediately have to jump to Dr. Google.
Right. So do we?
Did you quick? But this is admin PowerShell.
Oh, you're running PowerShell, does that mean?
Yeah.
Should we give it another crack? Did I type it wrong?
No, that's all correct. It's admin PowerShell.
It's times like these that call for a little bit of music. I would sing, but I feel like I wouldn't do that. I think we're going to drop down to zero viewers if I do.
Quickly right click on Windows again, just in case. Over here.
Oh, down here.
Yeah, that one, and go PowerShell admin again.
PowerShell admin again.
Yeah, just
Go
in
on
case.
yes again.
Yep.
Try again.
Yeah, why not?
Pip install pg0.
Yeah.
Correct? Enter. Nothing's happening.
That's very strange.
So let's do it through the
Yeah, hopefully you should be able to. So what's the command for running as admin on Windows?
You can just right click on PowerShell and just start and run as administrator.
Yeah, so that's
Has Finn given us an idea here? Check out maybe
You just
using.
try doing it in command line or admin command instead of PowerShell. This is what Finn was saying.
Okay.
Righto, Finn, let's give your option a go. What do you think?
Admin command prompt. Yeah.
So what are we doing there?
Power of live stream.
Don't.
Fins.
I'm very confused as to why. Okay. So close that and we'll find command prompt.
Yep. So go down here.
Yeah.
Search bar.
CMD prompt. And see if we can
CMD
get admin.
prompt. Yep. And then
So you probably want admin command prompt. I don't know why PowerShell came up as your default option. That's
well, see, I pressed space first. Was I not allowed to do that
space.
before typing?
Ah, why did you press? Okay, that might be the problem.
Righto. So we'll go one more time.
Yeah.
PowerShell.
Yep.
It's just out of habit, man. So let's go pip install
Yep.
pg0.
Yep.
No,
Yeah, okay.
still nothing. Okay. So what are we doing here?
So accessing admin from command prompt without opening it as admin. Actually, you should just go back to your. I don't work with Windows usually. That's so type in command prompt and right click on it. Oh, there we go. Run as administrator.
Run as administrator.
Yeah.
Yes. Sweet.
That's try. Let's try this again.
Okay, so
Pip.
we're going pip
Install.
and no space there.
There's no space before pip.
pj0.
Yep.
pg, sorry, 0. There we go.
go.
Yes. First problem solved. So
And
what
now
am I
everything
getting?
else should just work from here once it's finished installing.
Okay. So I'll be fielding offers from Google as of tomorrow as their lead devs because we've just solved the problem. No, was that Finn? That was
Yeah,
Finn's
that was
recommendation. Finn, man, for the win. Thank you.
Why does Windows have PowerShell and command prompts?
It doesn't even matter. Finn's got our back. So
Well, it's true. But why?
so what are we doing here?
So now that's all done. You can close that up. Everything will now
We
work.
can close that.
Yep, we can just move
Sweet.
on. At
Awesome.
long last. All right.
Let's get into it.
So we'll start with statements and variables.
Okay.
So in code, you write whatever you want to call something.
You write whatever you want to call something.
Yeah. So here we've got a number and it equals 1.
Right.
So this is a variable name
Mm.
and this is the data that we've stored in that.
Mm.
So statements of line of code cause computer to do some action. Variables store data and are modified using statements. So this is our variable. This is another variable, B number, and this is another variable. You can call a variables anything, and they can store almost anything, especially in Python because there's no typecasting, so you don't have to be specific about what you're putting in, which can also lead to errors.
So a banana equals 7.
Yes.
So each of these
So
variables equals a value.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's just like in maths where x equals 6,
Yeah.
or you're solving an equation.
Yeah.
If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And print we're going to be using as our debugging statement.
Okay.
So print will print to console in your terminal here, and it'll show you whatever you've asked it to print. So printing with the colons either side,
Yep.
that's a string.
Right.
String is just a collection of characters, a word,
Okay.
and so it'll output a word. But if we use print a banana, which is the name of the variable,
Yep.
it'll print out the number that was stored there.
Ah, see, I get you now.
That
See,
makes sense?
Yeah. So
Yep.
if I was wanting to do a word of some description, then I would have to put it in parentheses and also the inverted commas, and it
Yep.
would give me the word. But if I forget those inverted commas, then it's just going to give me the value.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you could also store the string a banana as a number, but then if you added these together, weird things might happen.
Yeah.
Because,
Okay.
Yeah, Python typecasting is interesting.
Righto.
When we get to it,
We'll get to it.
you'll get to it eventually.
Righto.
All right. All clear?
Yeah. All clear.
All right. Let's move on. So arrays are again another variable type, but instead of storing one item, they store a list
Multiple.
of items. Yeah.
Okay.
And that can be a list of integers, which is whole numbers, strings, which is collections of letters, as
Yep.
mentioned before, or floats, which is decimal point numbers.
Okay.
So if we print, so they're also indexed at 0. So this is position 0, this is position 1, this is position 2, etc.
Wait. What do you mean? Say that again.
So it's indexed from 0. So the number 7 is in position 0.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
So if you type in array name with the square brackets 0, you're accessing.
Then it will take the number rather than the parentheses.
You're accessing position 0.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So then you can, using that, you can then assign variables and use arrays. So for instance, in this case, we've got the number at position 4, which would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, plus the one at array position 1, so 0, 1.
And then that's going to give us our number.
Yep, so added those together, if we print that out, we'll get 5.
Right.
That making sense?
Hang on, so if we're taking the 4, so we're taking the 4th position.
Yep.
Right, which is 7, 4, 72, so it's going to be 3.
No, indexed from 0.
From 0.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
So we've got 1, and then plus array name 1, which is going to be 4, then the 5. I'm on it. Okay, I'm there. Yeah, I'm with you.
That equals a total of 5, and then when we print out,
and so it gives us print apples.
So print apples, because apples is what we call the addition of those two.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Cool.
should have
And
all
then when
been
we
on
say
one
print
line.
apples, then it's going to give us our outputs.
Yep, it'll just spit it out in your console.
Okay.
Or your terminal in this case.
Yeah, so where did the 7 come from
The
in
7,
the output?
this line here, print array name the position 0.
Okay, yep. Okay, cool. I'm with you.
Alright, you ready to move
Sweet.
on?
Yeah, ready to move on. Let's do it. Definitely going to have to be practicing it.
Yeah, so flow control statements is where programming really becomes useful. Otherwise, we're just storing variables and lists, which is a little bit ridiculous.
Okay.
So it's a question to the computer, and
Mhm.
it responds with an answer, so to speak.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're hungry,
Hmm.
you have numerous options for something to choose, or you can just go hungry.
Yep.
Or in this case, if you are hungry or not hungry, you'll do one thing or you'll do another.
Okay.
So that's what flow control statements are.
By the way, before we move on, Finn's got a question there. I didn't see it.
Did he install Python 3.82? Did you install all of that? Just installing that Python 3.82, sorry, when you install it includes pip.
Mm.
Probably stream it to say the question first, then answer it. So they know what, because they're on a stream delay. So
Okay. So if pip isn't a command delay, you may not have finished installing Python or installed Python. Or check the box that said add to path.
Okay. Let's see if that comes back with something.
Hopefully.
Oh, he's got it?
Yep.
this might be a little awkward.
No, that's alright. We're just troubleshooting with Finn now because he helped us.
Yep, that's true.
Tried running the command through Python as well.
Alright, so we'll have to install pip through command prompt then.
So what is he going to have to do?
Dr. Google comes to the rescue again.
Okay.
I'll help him if you guys want to put it on.
Sure. Thanks, Cameron.
Did you hear that though? So Cam's going to be helping you out there, Finn. Went through that as okay. So he did go through Google.
He said it went through. Try right. Yeah, okay. Leave it with me. You guys keep going.
Alright.
Okay, Cam's going to take over the troubleshooting there for you, Finn. We're just going to press on.
Yep.
Okay.
So, with this statement, so we've got if you are hungry or if you aren't hungry.
Mm.
Yep. So, you do one thing or you do the other.
Yep.
So, when that comes to coding, it looks more like this. So, if something, then do something.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise,
so if I'm
do something
hungry,
else.
then eat.
Yep. Otherwise, don't eat.
Otherwise, don't eat. Okay.
Yep. So it executes a specific piece of code depending on the result of an expression in here known as a condition.
Okay.
So a condition must evaluate to either be true or false.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be anything else. It can't be a number like if 6, because that makes no sense.
Yep.
And we have an example here. If this is what it looks like in Python. So if condition.
And do you have to put in those brackets?
You don't have to put it in brackets with Python. But if you come from C and want to do it in Python,
So it looks a bit neater.
Yeah, you kind of do anyway.
Yep. Right.
Or any other language. Python's just
So
free and all over the place.
if condition,
do stuff.
So it
And
will
this
do
is a
something.
comment in Python.
Yeah.
So anything you write will not be executed or run by the program. So you can write whatever you like there after a hash key.
Okay.
So it will appear in green in your
And it
ID
has
as well.
no effect on
No
what's
effect.
happened. So I can just put anything I want in there.
Sure.
Yep. Credit
Yep.
card details,
Yep.
phone number.
Yep.
Sounds good.
And if you upload that as some sort of code on some device, no
Mm.
one will be able to access your credit card details because you've written them as a comment.
Oh. So only I can see my credit card details then?
Yeah, because
Cool.
the compiler just ignores them. It's like, they don't
Okay.
care. So we've got if, then, and we've also got else if, which in Python is weird because it's elif as opposed to being else if, two separate words.
Okay.
And also when you're jumbling conditions together and want to do multiple conditions at once, it's nicer in Python. It's the one nice thing in Python so far, where you can just write and not, or and. So if you want two conditions to be true at once, or you want one condition to be true and one condition to be false, and if for a single statement. So for instance, if you're hungry and it's midday, you want to have lunch. If it's not midday, you want to have dinner instead, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then else will just happen if none of the conditions are met.
Okay, so elif is then.
So else if is if then. So yeah, if then execute some code because it's an if. But else is just do this if none of the conditions were met.
Okay, cool.
And if you don't have an else, it will just skip past it and continue on doing its own thing. Or
Righto.
doing what you've told it to do, preferably.
Yep.
So with all of that, let's start writing some Python.
Okay, this is my favorite part. This is going to be my very first line of code.
Yep.
So write a script with Python that prints whether a number is positive or negative.
Yep. So do we need to go back and...
Write a script with Python that prints whether a number is positive or negative.
So for example, if you've got a number 9,
Yep.
which you'll assign to a variable name, so you'll store 9 in something, or whatever you like, then you want to write a conditional statement.
So, and the conditional statement, I literally type in if.
Yes.
Okay, if, and then do I have to put a space after if?
Yes.
Okay, cool. If, and then the condition, and then I actually just type.
So it's got to be evaluate to true or false, and that's going to be operations with Python, which is just like math operations. So if a number is positive versus if a number is negative, what's the difference between those two?
One's positive, one's negative.
Yep, and in relation to 0, if that helps.
Or one's odd and one's even.
Yep.
What do you mean?
So if one's greater than 0 and the other one's less than 0.
If one's greater than 0 and one's less than 0.
So one's greater than 0. So 9 is greater than 0.
Yeah.
Negative 9 is less than 0.
Ah, so you got the greater symbol.
Yes. So you can use that in your
Really?
statement. Yeah.
I say, so if greater than
If.
0.
So we don't have a variable name yet, so we don't have a number yet. So we'll just go to the left of that if statement with your arrow keys.
Yeah.
Yep. And then press enter 2 or 3 times. And go up, and we'll quickly go back to variables.
Oh, so I've got to set variables
Yep.
first. So I've got to put in array name.
Oh, sorry, not array name. We won't do that one yet.
Okay.
So not
So-
a number. You can call it whatever you want to call this variable. You
Number.
call it number, all right. And is going to be equal to,
Equal to.
and whatever you like, whatever number preferably. Otherwise, putting a string in here would be a bit weird.
I'm just going to put 1.
Sure, done. And then we'll go back down to your if statement.
Right. So now I'm back here.
Yep. So
Yep.
if condition. So 1, and we discussed it before. 0 was our reference.
So if greater than 0.
Yep. So what's greater than 0 though? You got to put in number. It's got to be a whole statement.
Oh, so like if 1 greater than 0.
Well, so that's one way of doing it. That will work.
Yep.
If you type in if 1 greater than 0, that statement in that brackets
Yeah.
will evaluate to true or false, won't it? Because if is 1 greater than 0,
Well, yeah.
well, yes, so that will evaluate to true. So whatever is inside your following if statement
Yep.
will execute.
Okay, cool.
So if you put in number instead of
Just
1,
just number.
Yep.
The word number.
The word number.
Yeah.
And then it's base. Put a
Oh,
space.
because it's based on that.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay. So if number greater than 0, then I go to the end, then click, and then
you want your semicolon, your colon. Sorry.
do I have to put a space?
You don't have to put a space.
You don't have to put it. I'm going to put a space.
All right. You can also put a space either side of your greater than as well, if you want.
You know what? I do want that.
Yeah, because
That's
spaces
something.
like comments, they don't really get compiled either.
Okay, cool. So and
then enter, and you'll notice that your tab suddenly went inward.
it did. Why
Yes.
did it do that?
So that represents the fact that you're now inside the if statement.
Ah, okay,
So
cool.
Python, because it's tab based,
Yeah.
that's how you tell where you are.
Yep.
So if you put another if statement inside of that, you'll be another tab in.
Yeah.
Etc.
That makes sense. Okay, so now I'm
Yeah.
doing an.
So what do you want it to do? Well, what did we want it to do?
We
Well-
wanted. What was the task? The task was that we want it to say positive
If it's positive or
if
negative.
it's positive or negative if it's negative.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So, and how did we put stuff in the console? Print.
So we just type in print,
And,
then we're doing the brackets. I can put in a space if I want. Correct.
Yep, you can. Because Python allows you to.
Yeah. So if number greater than 0, print positive.
Yep, so
But I'm going to need the parentheses. Correct.
you're going to need,
Otherwise, it's going to give me nothing.
the quote marks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the quote marks.
Yep.
And then, so once I've done that, it's another... No, I don't need a semicolon, do I?
No, like that's again with Python, you don't need semicolons,
Yep.
which is frustrating.
So I've done print, then positive, and so that's given me...
So what can you tell me what that code's going to do so far?
Well, it's going to tell me that if I print the number 1...
So if you pass the number 1, if you pass 1 into number first, because that's what's happening,
Yeah.
and then if number is greater than 0,
Then
it'll
we're
print
going to get
positive.
positive. It's going to say positive. It's going to print the word positive, correct?
Yep.
What are we doing here?
You're live. Your screen's live, so I don't have to talk to it. We're gonna.
Oh, my screen's live
Keep it
here.
rolling, guys.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, cool. Right.
And then
Okay.
what if we also wanted it to print if it wasn't positive?
So we would
if-
want it to print negative. So I've got to do another if statement here, do I?
You can do another if statement
Or elif.
or elif, yeah, or an else. Because that's a good point. If it's 0, is it positive or negative?
Yeah, okay. Right, let's not get down that road. That's good.
So let's just
Can we-
assume.
We're gonna install this on Liam's this live share extension.
Okay. Yep. So
Should we just keep everybody updated? What are we doing here?
extensions is.
So we're trying to get it running on my laptop now, so we can see what's going on my laptop. So
So we're gonna share your.
we're going to share my code
So in here, type in live share.
just at the top.
Yep, in that section there.
Do I delete that first?
Yep.
Live share.
So live share is a cool extension in VS Code that allows two people to work on the same bit of code
Install?
from
Yep.
different computers.
Ah, okay, cool,
Ah.
cool.
And so what I'm going to do here is get you to share your screen with Darcy, and then that'll help us make it a bit clearer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's going to make a lot more sense.
And then I'll be
Okay.
able to write comments as you do other things.
Thanks everybody for
It's a trial run.
yeah, it's definitely trial run. It's our first go, so but it's
Fail fast, fast iteration.
yeah, exactly. Fail fast. What does Eric Ries say? Fail fast.
So share now.
Yeah, so you go share now, and you'll get a link. And then you'll have to get that link off Liam.
Okay, so where's my link?
We've got the hard
Sign in
one
with GitHub or Microsoft.
So I click with either one of these.
Yep.
And then you have to log into something. Oh, I love Dashlane. Open.
Yep.
Open.
So, okay. Allow.
And then I'm gonna.
Yep. And then send that to Darcy.
Yep. And so what am I gonna send it to you?
What's the easiest way?
Email?
Quickly, probably a text file, really. Got a USB.
No. Can I just send you an email?
Sure, send me an email then.
What's your email address?
Darcy burn@safi.com.au.
There we go, got ya.
Yeah.
And then going to send, bang, that. Hey, dude. Okay, I'm gonna send that on to you. Thanks everybody for your patience. Promise we're gonna be getting on top of this.
You wait. We've got to try and write the rest of Pong.
Yeah, that's the easy part now, by the looks of everything that's happened so far. Writing the code's the easy part.
Maybe.
Yeah. Be up the top. Why is it not there? Go other. Go junk. Oh, I didn't.
No way.
It's centered as junk.
Straight as junk.
That's gross.
It's because you sent me a link. That's probably why.
Yeah, but, you know, come on, man. We work in the same office. Feel offended.
Don't feel too offended.
Now we're going to do another sign-in process.
Oh, that's convenient.
Continue.
Okay.
Open. Allow access. It didn't come up. Preemption. See? I assumed that it would come up. Good piece of advice someone told me was never assume, because it only makes an ass out of you and me. Thought it was
Fail
clever.
to update workspace folder.
It says you've joined the collaboration session, so you should be there.
Oh, here we go. Is that it? You've shared the terminal. Have you?
Yeah, click on that participants. Click on my name.
Not currently editing a shared document. Yeah, I think you have to share the document.
I did, didn't I? I gave you the URL.
So that invites me to your session,
Right.
but I'm not sure whether that invites me to.
Is it in the direct site?
Click there.
There we go.
Oh, we're in. Okay, because you were just seeing my screen, right? Perhaps.
I wasn't really seeing it. Well, maybe.
Okay, let's do this. Let's get
Alright.
into it. Okay, so now I want to do... So if the number's greater than 0, I want it to print positive. However, I also want it to print negative if it's under 0.
Yep.
Right? So that means that we've got to do either an else statement, or we could also do an elif statement, but that's getting way too trippy to do an elif statement.
Well,
How do I say it, man? I feel like
elif, yeah,
elif.
yeah. Else if is
Okay.
what it's usually, but
Else
Python.
if. Else if.
Yeah, but
I'm just gonna
elif.
say else if, because I feel
It makes more sense.
I feel uncomfortable. Okay. What are you doing here, my dude?
Oh, I'm just leaving you helpful pointers and comments.
Okay, cool. So now I do else.
Yep.
As the word else.
Yep.
And then I do the brackets. What do we call the brackets? What's a fancy name for it? Do we call it
Parentheses,
something? No,
but
this
you
is the
don't need the
condition.
brackets in this case because it's
Okay.
just else. Because otherwise you'd
if
be
I
doing
do-
an else if.
Okay, so if I do else, then I don't need to put in the brackets in the condition.
Yeah, because it's just this
Else.
does it automatically.
Exactly, it makes
Yep.
sense, because it's like, if it's this, else,
Yep.
bang. Okay, so
Don't-
negative.
Don't forget your colon, and
I got to put a colon after else,
and
Okay.
then enter,
and then enter.
because this is another part of your if statement.
Right. And then I go negative.
Yep.
And do I have to put it in parentheses?
You have to type it in print as well.
Like that?
Negative, but you've also got to tell it to print that. At the moment, you're just throwing a string.
So I
at
gotta,
this-
I
at
gotta
it
say,
and just
hey,
saying, do something.
listen here, dude. Print that for me, and then I'm going to have to put it in brackets.
And hopefully, if you run that, something will appear in your terminal. So if you then go to run and start debugging from memory, current Python file, terminal or output, run.
So what am I doing?
That one.
So what have we done there? Can we see Darcy's computer screen there?
You should be able to see it in yours. You should be able to then run that file
And so how do
just go to terminal and type.
What's terminal, my dude?
So terminal down here.
Yep.
Type in Python.
Python. Yep.
And then space.
Yep.
And then type in the name of the file, which is Pong. So
Pong.
Shift P, because you've called it Shift P Pong.
Yep.
.py.
.py.
Py. And then you should be able to press enter, and it should do stuff.
Syntax error. Invalid syntax. What
It
have I
doesn't
done?
like where you put your if, your else. So hopefully if you move it back one, and then the same with your print, should be okay with that. Maybe you move those a little closer.
And then we're going to do it again.
Yep. Save your file first.
How do I save it?
Control S or file save.
That's saved.
Yep. And it also tells you what problems you've got. So problems are over here.
Yep. Invalid unknown line 8. So yeah, it might have been what you just said.
Yeah.
Syntax
but
error 8.
So if we can Control S, which is save,
Yep.
you'll notice that the problem is gone.
Disappears.
Yep,
Okay.
no
so
problem.
now,
So if you go back to your terminal
yep.
and try running it again,
Python.
space. You type it in.
Now enter.
Positive,
Sweet. So it worked.
hopefully. Try changing the number, just to check that your negative condition works as well.
Just
So
minus 9.
no, it's stored in your. Yeah, it's stored up here.
Oh, number 1 here.
Remember?
Yeah.
Because that's your variable. That's what's holding the value.
Okay, so if I put in a different number there.
Yep.
So just like a negative number as well.
Yep, sure.
Negative 9.
And then back to your terminal. Oh, save of course.
Oh, control save.
Yep.
Yep.
And then you go back to terminal.
Right. And then do Python again.
So you could type it in again.
Or,
The easier way,
Yep.
press the up arrow once.
sweet. So it just takes what I've written
The previous
above.
thing you wrote, yeah.
And
But
then-
you can also just keep going back.
Negative.
Well, there you go. It worked.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I get it now because when it said number equals negative 9, I thought that number was now the value negative 9.
It is.
It
Isn't
is.
Yeah, it is. Is -9 greater than 0?
No. Therefore
Well, then-
negative.
Therefore negative.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I get you. Cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You've now written your first Python script.
Wow.
How's it feel?
It feels weird.
Alright, let's go back.
Feels good.
So that's if, then else.
If.
Do you want to
okay,
include the
sweet.
else if? Do you feel brave? Like for the
Brave.
0 case?
Absolutely.
Alright,
I'm going to be applying for Google after this.
alright.
Let's do it.
So you're going to edit that. See if you can do it without my help. That's
Righto.
fine. So see how you've also got if and else lined up together?
Yeah.
Like they're both in the same tab
Yeah.
rank,
Yeah.
that being 0.
Yeah.
So that means they're part of the same group.
Yep.
That means they're the same, that's their same set of instructions.
Yep.
So print is inside that because it's
Mhm.
one tab space in,
Mm-hmm.
and so is the other print. They're both one tab space in,
Mm-hmm.
as we can see.
Mm-hmm.
So now we wanted to, if the 0 case. So we've got if,
Mm-hmm.
do stuff, else if, because we've now got 3 options at the moment, don't we?
Yep.
We've got a negative, we've got a positive, we've got a 0, and we want to be able to account for that 0 case.
Okay. So I'm going to have to put in... Can I put it in after the else? Or do you have to actually take the else out?
Or you can still leave the else and just look for the 0 condition instead, as opposed to looking for the negative condition.
Right.
So
Okay,
if you look for the negative condition, you'd be doing elif.
Oh, you don't need that there.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You do elif, and
Yep.
then what's negative?
Or I could mess around with the 0. So else print negative. And then if it's a 0,
So you could put another if statement inside here. Yes.
yeah. So if 0, then 0.
Print 0, yeah.
Yeah, if 0, then print 0. But okay, let's do. I want to do the else if.
Yep.
So what would be the standard practice?
So standard practice is to include all your else ifs, because you can have numerous else ifs if you want.
But would I remove else here?
No, because you still want your else in this case.
Okay.
Because otherwise you could turn it into an else if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It just means extra code because you're writing extra conditions.
Okay.
For every if, there has to be a condition.
So I'm going to do a space, go back one.
So you're going to jump back to your else.
I'm going to go back to actual else.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we might as well turn it into
So I
another
can
condition.
keep going along.
You can. What do you mean by going along?
Well, I don't know. What are we trying to do? What?
So we're going to convert the else into
Yeah.
an else if.
Oh, right. Okay. So I'm just going to be... See, this is what I meant. I was like, do I change the else to else if? And you're like, no,
right,
we can
yeah.
leave the else there. And
Well,
I'm
yeah,
like, where?
we got so many options with programming. There's so many different ways you can skin the cat.
Yeah.
Not that we want to skin cats. So now that you've got an if there, you need another condition. So
Okay.
you've got one condition up here, that one,
Mm.
but now you've got to have another condition because you've got another if.
And do I put it next to this one?
Yep.
Cool.
And what's that condition going to be?
Well, the condition is else if... can we just do something weird? Like, nah.
It's going to be in relation to number again.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's got to be 0. Then 0.
Or else 0 print negative. Well, is number going to be... If our -9 and we else 0, which does 0 evaluate as true or false?
No, I guess not. So
No.
I've just got to put another number in there.
Not another number,
Right.
another another condition.
Oh, so I got to put whatever I want.
Yeah, so that's your condition in there.
So I do number.
Yep.
Number 0.
Well,
and then the condition.
Not number 0.
Okay.
So number 0 is that's still not a
Right.
condition.
So number is the
So
start of the
what
condition.
was the previous condition?
was number equals number greater than 0.
Yeah.
Was
If
the condition.
number is greater than 0.
If number is greater than 0. So if number is 0.
Oh yeah, yep. So if you're going to go with that option,
Well, what were you going to do? I want to see what you were going to do.
well, you've still got print negative there. If number equals 0,
Yeah.
the code that would then execute
Hmm.
would be print negative.
I don't want that
No.
because it's not negative.
No.
It's
So what's
nothing.
another condition instead of equals 0?
I don't know. I got no idea.
Less than.
Yeah. But less than 0 is then just going to be negative, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
If number is greater than 0,
Yeah.
print
See,
positive.
I was trying to account, when you said account for the 0, I was trying to make it so that if we had a 0, it would print something different.
Well, yeah, sure.
Do you get me?
Yeah, I get you.
That was the plane
So,
of thinking I was on.
okay. So
That's why I was like, I want to say nah. So if you put in 0, the computer's just like, nah, man. You don't do 0.
Sure, we can do that. We can go elif number. So with equals, it's a little bit weird in programming. Instead of doing 1, you do 2.
Okay.
And you want to do for 0?
Yeah.
Print.
Nah. Print nah. No, man.
Yeah.
No.
And if you save that and run that,
Okay, Control S, and then I'm going to come down here. Going to click up.
Yep.
Sweet,
Negative.
negative, because my initial
your
number
variable
up here.
is storing -9.
So I'm going to say if it's 0,
Yep.
because that's what we want.
Yep.
And then I
Done.
go up, bang, click, negative.
Because you missed something.
Okay.
There's a little white dot over in the corner here.
In where?
Over next to the word pong.py. That says your file is unsaved and you've changed it.
Pong.py.
Yep. See that little white dot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so if I go save again.
Well, you got to get out of terminal quickly.
Oh, and then save it.
Yeah, you know you saved it.
And then I'm going to go down.
Yep.
Nah, man. I like it. Sweet.
Alright,
Cool.
so when it comes to our actual Pong
Yeah.
program, when we write that, we don't actually want this.
Oh,
we don't,
hang on. Let me take a picture of that because that's my first line. You know, that's my first conditional statement. And I'm going to get that for the memories. Sweet. Okay, let's move on.
All right. So for our actual poll,
Yep.
we don't. If it's 0, we're just gonna call that positive.
Okay.
So we'll get rid of this line and we'll just convert this back to an else.
Okay. So I can just delete it?
Yep.
Just straight up backspace?
Yep. And then you can delete the condition and just change the elif back to an else.
Sweet.
There we go.
And then control save.
And then back to the PowerPoint.
Okay.
So, done the condition demo.
Yep.
Now up to loops.
Yep.
So loops allow things, well, everything to do with computing is a loop.
Right.
Everything is just constantly running, or it's doing something. Life is kind of like a loop. The circle of life, it's a loop.
True, we're getting philosophy as well.
Programming is very philosophical.
Feels it.
So, again, we've got these conditions. They're going to evaluate as true or false.
Okay, so we've got a while condition.
Yep.
But it's got to be true or false.
Execute some code. And then we've got a for condition, which will be for variable start value to variable end value.
Right.
Execute some code. So a while loop is called a pre-test loop from memory. Otherwise, I've got them backwards. One is a pre-test, one's a post-test. So it executes the code, then tests for a post-test. For a pre-test, it checks first, and then executes the code.
Right.
So while, for instance, okay, we could do a quick example now if you want. So in your code here, you've got that statement, your if statement. So yeah, we'll start with while. So put a few spaces with enter. Yep, and then type while. And then conditional. So it's still going to be let's still relate it to 0, to your number, right?
Yep.
So number. Oh, sorry. That's true. So your number, and what's something we want to do to the number? Do we want to make the number smaller or greater? Or greater or smaller?
Greater.
All right.
So
So
we're all about improvement here.
okay. So while number is greater than
0.
all right, and then we do the same thing again with our colon.
So we're taking small wins here. So no space.
Yep.
Yeah, and then come down here.
And now
we've
you're
got-
inside the while loop,
We're inside the while loop, and then we're going to do a print.
and we might as well put in number
Put in number as the print.
because we want to see what that is.
Right.
So if you put it in like that, we'll just see the word number printed over and over again.
Right.
If you remove those
Parentheses.
quote marks,
Yeah, quote mark, sorry.
now you're going to be printing whatever the number is. So while number is greater than 0. So number currently is just 0. So let's change that at the top there. Because this is only happening while number is greater than 0. So let's make it 2. Okay, 2. That will do. And then let's do something to number. Otherwise we'll be stuck in this while loop forever until the end of the universe. Because that's what computers do with a while loop. They're just like staying there
Right.
until the condition
So
is
it
met.
would just be keep going like that forever.
Yep, it'll keep printing 0. Well, keep printing 2 unless
So
you
if
do
I
something.
pressed enter right now and then saved it and then
Well,
ran
experiment.
it, then I would die.
You wouldn't die. It's going to be it's never going to escape from that loop.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Because number will never be greater
Yep.
than 0.
True.
Well, he's always greater than 0, sorry. So it's
Yep.
going to stay there, yeah.
Okay, so while number greater than 0, print number,
Yep,
but we've got to do something to it.
which is 2. So,
So
you
it's
might as
gonna
well
be
try
printing
executing it. Try executing it. See what will happen once
Okay.
you've saved it.
So it's still running.
Yep.
Wow.
So have you noticed what you've done here yet? So you got while number is equal. We've got 2. Number equals 2. We've stored 2 there. While number is greater than 0.
Yep.
2 is greater than 0.
Yep.
And you're going to print number.
So it's just going to be printing forever.
Yep.
Cool.
So let's change that a little bit.
Yep.
So let's do an operation on the number to try and get it less than 0 so we get out of the loop.
Okay.
So first we're going to go down to your terminal and press Control X or Control C. I think it's Control C. Sorry. Yeah. And that will force quit. That's like
Sweet.
it's your interrupt.
Yep.
And then we're going to go to our while loop.
Yep.
And we're going to do something to number to make it less than 0.
Right.
So underneath your print number, so we can see what the number is before it does something. So do you remember back here where we did something to number, or to a number? In this case, we added two numbers together and then stored it in a new variable.
So I
And
don't
then-
have to create a new variable.
You don't have to create a new variable, no.
Right.
You could just use number still.
Right.
And just like we created a new variable there. Otherwise, we could have just used the same old variable. So in this case, with number, what we might do is subtract 0.1 from it. So type number, because we're going to store whatever our value is back in number again. So the number is updated.
Right.
And
So this is updating the number.
Yep.
Up here.
And press equals. Just one equals. So 2 equals is for conditionals, condition statements. 1 equals is for when you're actually doing an operation,
Okay.
like adding numbers together.
Right.
So now you're going to type in number again, and then a minus sign, or space, then minus sign, and then 0.1. So what happens with code is whatever you have on the right hand side will be moved into the left hand side after that line executes.
Okay.
So what is number minus 0.1?
So it's going to take 0.1 from 2, so down
Yep.
to 1.9, and then
And
it's going
that
to
will
shift
be
it over to the
stored over
left-hand
here.
side.
Yep.
And then it's going to automatically run that again, and then it's just going to keep doing that loop until we get back down to 0.
Yes!
Yeah, okay.
You've got it.
Got it. Got it.
So save and run it.
So let's click save. I'm just getting a little bit of a high here. High on code.
You've seen the Matrix.
I have seen the Matrix. When did I take the pill, man? I have no idea. So what am I writing down here? Python.
Or
Got-
up arrow.
It doesn't work because we... Oh, it does work. See, I thought... Yeah, anyway. And then we're going to click it. Bang.
Yep.
Right. And so...
It
Why did it stop?
stopped at 0.9997.
It
So-
stopped at 0.09.
Well, 0.009. So that's to do with floats and integers.
Right.
Because it's currently, I think number is an integer, so it's a whole number, but then it gets converted to a float and weird things happen. Python is just weird. The fact that you can do that.
I thought it would go all the way down to 0, but
Yeah.
it didn't.
And it went to,
But it did weird jumps too, though. It went
Yeah.
0 at 1.9 and then 0.79.
Yep.
Why is that? Why not 0.8, 0.7, 0.6?
So this is when
0.5,
we start getting into the nitty gritty bits of how floats, which store decimal values, and then you've got double
Oh, we're
precision
not there,
floats.
right?
Well, we can get into that if you want.
Because that's all Latin, what you just said to me.
Yeah. So just think, whenever you've seen a number in code,
Yep.
that's just a whole number.
Yeah.
Think integer.
Integer. Okay.
If you see a number that's got a decimal point after it,
Yep.
think
Think-
float.
Think float. Okay. Cool.
Yep. If it's got lots of decimal points,
So when you're saying float, you're referring to dot numbers, decimal numbers.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
and when you think when you see lots of decimal places,
Yeah.
it's a double precision usually.
What's the double precision? What's
So
that?
it's a different way of storing a float so that you can have all the zeros after it. It's really precisely stored
Okay.
because you got to when we step all the way back out and then look
Yeah.
at how computers work, they've only got 2 digits. They've got a 1
Zero
and 0.
and one, yeah. Okay.
So they've got to find there's a way of how that's interpreted. Data science. Oh, it's a whole nother topic.
Okay. Righto. So we're moving on now.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Let's move on.
Now that we've done your while loop.
Yep.
So the next test, instead of a while loop,
Is a loop demo.
we're going to do a for loop.
A for loop.
We're going to use a for loop this time.
A for loop.
A for loop.
Like the number 4. Or like FOR.
FOR.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Get it
which
done.
looks like this in Python. So this is what you wrote in Python.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Oh, condition.
Yep.
Yep. And
so
then
for is in I in range. So I is integer because for loops prefer to operate with integers, so to speak.
Right.
Mainly because they're used for stepping through arrays, which we saw earlier.
And the array is again.
Yeah. This is an array.
Yep.
Our box
Yep.
with lots of different numbers in it.
Correct.
So up the top, we'll create a new.
Variable.
So we'll give it a name. It's going to be an array this time, though. So some random name, whatever you like. Or call it an array.
Random.
Equals, and then the square brackets. And put in 5 numbers separated by commas, all positive and negative, like 1 positive, 1 negative, etc.
Sweet.
Awesome.
What would be a negative 69?
Don't know.
Real philosophical questions again.
Right. So we're going to use our if statement because why not? So we want to output whether each number is positive or negative in the array. So we're not going to output it as an array. We'll just spit out a list of positive and negative. And we'll probably comment out our while loop as well. Otherwise that will just dominate because that thing happens afterwards. So that will appear last in our terminal.
Okay.
And we want to see the positive and negative first.
Right.
So
maybe we can put it up here because if it's going to go
Yeah.
last, then... And so we're doing a for statement.
Yep. So for.
And then the number.
Yep.
Which
so
is just
let's go I.
I.
It's just a variable.
Which is
in range.
In range.
And so our range will be.
And then do I have to put brackets? Hang on, let me say it. Look, range. Yep. So range.
Really should have done an example with this one.
Range in brackets.
We should check. It's been a while with Python.
Before I in range brackets stop integer stop start in stop in.
Yeah. So in a range can be a series of numbers, or in this case, because Python wants to proclaim that it's the easiest language to do, instead of typing in a range, you can literally just put in random your array name, and it will apparently.
Do I have to put anything after it? Yes. Semicolon.
Yep. And.
Darcy,
Yep.
just click the name on your screen.
Sure. Sorry, I keep forgetting that.
Sorry.
So supposedly Python will read the range of your array. And for I in range, so it's got the range is 5.
So it's reading that, yeah. But
Yep.
we need to...
And then we want it to do something.
We've got to print it. We've got to make it print something.
Yep. We want it to print if it's positive or negative.
Print positive or negative.
Yep. And we'll just call that a comment. We'll take that as a comment. It's like Q&A now.
Right.
Because you're going to be... Each number will be I, so to speak.
Oh, so I would say positive...
So if,
positive, negative, positive, negative.
And using an if statement.
Okay, so if then, can I stay in this or do I have to go back one?
Or you could just, you could literally cut that and move it into there and change number to I.
I click there, bang, didn't happen. Click here, click, and then change number to I.
Yep.
And so if number is greater, yep, sweet. So that's got everything. That's a nice little shortcut, isn't it?
And we'll just comment this one out. So if you want to comment out a block, you can go to over here into your edit and toggle block comment. And that it's Python being weird again with, so that's a comment as well.
I don't want it. Can we remove it?
We
Scary.
just want it there for the moment.
Okay.
Just because we don't want the while loop showing up when we're trying to execute.
Oh, so
for
you
loop.
made that into a comment because you don't want it to execute. Okay, now
Yeah.
I get you, because then that would happen after all of this happens and then we'll get some weird value with
Yeah, and then we wouldn't see it.
Yeah,
So
okay,
if
cool.
you go save again.
So Control S, come down to terminal, all the way down the bottom, click here, click one up, tap. Line 15, print positive.
So what's happened here again? So we can see the if is inside the for loop because it's one tab in.
Yeah.
The print is not in the if statement. The print's in the for loop as well.
Yeah, okay. So we need to come back here.
So
and then click down there,
yep.
and then come here, and then click Control Save.
So we're gonna have another
Save.
problem as well.
We're going to have another problem here as well.
Yep. So yeah, else is also not in the for loop. It's also
So does it need to be in the for loop as
Yep.
well? Oh, okay, so they both need to be in that.
Yep.
Okay. Why did this be? Oh, okay. Cause
so
I
yeah.
just
So on the
clicked
side there, you
one.
can use it to hide functions. Yep.
So then, and then the prints out as well, correct?
Yep. Well, currently it is.
So then you go up, down,
Yep. And you'll just move.
across.
So if you select whole selections of text like that,
Yeah.
you can then use Shift Tab or Tab to move them all together. So you want to shift that one. Yeah, perfect. That's how we want them to look.
But that's not in
So
the statement though.
So the else is associated with that if.
Right. How? It doesn't look like it.
We'll look at the example above.
Yeah.
The else
Ah,
is associated
okay, yeah.
with that
So
if.
it's in
So
the right.
that's the structure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
So
So,
then-
hopefully
Control Save.
we don't have any problems. And then we should be able to run it and get a series of stuff.
Track back most recent last call. Line
Expected
12.
indented block.
For pi. In range random.
Where's line 12? List object can be cannot be interpreted as an integer.
What can't be interred? What? So when it's in brackets, we can't.
Yeah. So hopefully. That's why. So So when we had that in brackets,
Hmm.
we noticed that we have the word range there.
Hmm.
So what it's trying to do is convert that to a number.
Convert random into a number.
Yeah, which
Right.
it is not.
No, we don't want that.
So range is a function, and we'll discuss functions later.
Okay.
So what we want that to be is just pi in random.
Right. So how come we're not putting in range? Because that was the example.
So
wasn't it?
yeah, so range is like a placeholder for what we actually want it to be.
Oh, right. So we don't actually use it at all. So it's there for no reason in the slide.
Yeah, well, it's not for no reason. It's like instead of a variable name. Syntax. What?
Sweet. It worked.
Well, there you go.
So we just forget about range.
So not forget about range. Random is our range in this case.
Yeah, but as in, yeah. So
So for
we
one,
don't type in range.
Yeah.
We just type in the one thing.
We'll type in range later.
Yep.
Because range is its own function,
Mm.
and functions we'll get to in a bit.
Okay.
So it worked, did it?
Yep.
Excellent. Oh, all right.
Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yep.
You comfortable with all of this so far?
Well, as comfortable as one can be.
Yeah.
Who knows absolutely nothing about code.
Yeah. I get
I
you.
haven't cried yet, so we're getting.
That's the
somewhere.
main thing. That's the
True.
main thing. All right.
I'm lucky my
Done
dad's a
a loop
psychologist. Hey.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into functions.
Righto.
And functions are like programs within programs.
Mm.
So when you call a function, it will call a function name and give it some inputs. It will do stuff, and then it will return something.
Mm-hmm. And so again, it's got to be a conditional statement.
No. So function is purely saying it's a function, giving it a name. You don't have to call it function name. You can call it whatever you like. And then saying what inputs it's going to have. And then defining something to do within that function, and then returning something.
Okay.
Not something, but a value or anything, really.
Righto. So let's do. I'm more of a. I've got to do an actual example to learn.
Of course.
So let's do
Of
it.
course. So, our script from before, we're returning...
Oh, hang on. I'm going to look at it because this is an example there.
Yep.
So, def,
So, defining... Def is the keyword for saying
and then
it's
the
a function.
function name is sign.
Yep.
The input is x.
Yep.
And then you put in an if statement.
Yep.
Which is the doing stuff.
Yep.
Right? So if x is less than 0, then the return's going to be -1 else. And
Yep.
then if you put in an else, then you do a return of +1. Just 1.
Yep.
So, cool. So we're going to be doing something similar to that.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Let's see if I can pull out some magic here and give it a crack. What do you reckon?
Sure.
So if I go def, and let's just do sign as well, because I like, the sign. And then we're doing sign V.
Sorry.
And then the dots, parentheses there, and then we do
Something.
something, which is if.
Yep.
If statement. Hang on, I've got this. If V is greater than 0, right?
Okay.
If number's greater than 0, hang on, then print. Have I done something wrong already?
No. Believe me, you're the train has left the station. You're moving
Print.
quite well.
So I can put in whatever I want here, right? So
Oh
print.
yeah, sure.
Thanks, man. And then we've got that. Else we have. Give me a second here. Else print. No thanks, man. In parentheses. And then our value up here is 2. So then we're going here. We're going to go Control Save. We're going to come down here, click up.
So you haven't used your function yet. You've created a function which will take in V, and then it will do things with V.
Yep.
It doesn't return anything at the moment, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to return
So I missed
something.
a step.
No, you haven't missed a step. You just haven't used it.
Oh, okay.
So what if I delete all your nice work in here
Okay.
and type in sign I?
Right. Why sign I?
So so V in this case is a placeholder.
Yeah.
So
What's a placeholder?
So instead of so when you're building your function, right? If you want to pass anything you want in the world, but for the moment we just want something to hold its place. So for example here, number. If we put sign number, it will pass number where the V is.
Right.
So see how it's like our variables. So instead of 2, 2 is now associated with number. Everywhere there's the word is number, it's 2.
Yep.
Until we start doing things to it.
Yep.
The same with V, so to speak.
Yeah.
Everywhere there's a V, there's whatever is in this brackets is passed as through every location that is V.
Is V.
It's like moving variables with variables.
Okay.
So if you put in sign I here, it's gonna this I is going to be passed into your sign function, and then the I will then equal the V, and the V will do something.
Okay. Let's just let that marinate.
Run it and see what happens.
Let's just let that marinate. Control S.
What's his issue?
Line 14. Let me have a look here. Let's see if I can
Sign not
solve it.
defined.
Sign.
So
You got it.
Python has at last woken up to itself. So if you take that function and Control X to cut it, and then move it up to the top and enter a few times,
Why do we have to put it at the top?
and Control V, because Python doesn't know it exists yet.
Oh, because you put that before it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in some
So it's sequential. That's all it is.
yes, which is like C.
Line 14 module sign. Sign is not defined.
We
So
define something.
is it because you haven't put it in? You have to pull it back one. It doesn't look defined because doesn't it have to be purple? It would have to be purple, right?
It shouldn't have to be purple. It should just be. It should be yellow in most cases.
Can I give it a crack?
Sure.
Let's go sign. So why is it not yellow there? There should be yellow straight away, right? Right.
Well, it accepted sign that time because so when you started typing in sign,
It came up with values.
yeah, it came up with the option for sign.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you save that, and we'll see if we have any problems. If problem says nothing, it should work.
Sweet, man. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. No thanks,
So
man.
the
Thanks,
one
man.
problem was you put a space in here.
Between sign and
So that
up
would,
the top with the def.
so that would mean that function that would
Have worked,
yeah.
but because it okay,
But because you put a space there,
I get you.
yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Let's move on.
So your functions now make sense.
Well, that makes in as much sense as I can now replicate it, but
All right. So I want you to change the function up.
okay.
I want you to be able to pass in the whole array.
Pass in the whole array.
The whole
so the
array random.
Righto. Okay. So sign, and you said V was random. So the V here is the random.
Yep.
Therefore, the array's already in here.
Yep.
So if V, so what do you mean pass the whole array?
So at the moment, it's whatever V is doing.
Yeah.
At the moment, V is just a single value.
Mm.
If you pass in a number, that's okay, because you can have a number and it's greater than 0. But if you pass in this whole array here, it's going to have all these numbers. I'll just do this for example.
Yeah. That's what we have right now, though, isn't it?
No,
Why not?
that particular statement makes no sense, because you're passing in a list of numbers as opposed to a singular number.
Right.
So what we could do to solve that, you've got your for loop.
Okay.
Yeah.
For in random print.
So if you passed in your random here, oh sorry, shouldn't do it like that. If you passed in your random here, so we're going to type in random instead of I. We'll put a sign of random, so we're passing in random, and then we take the for loop here and move that into here for I in random. It's not going to be random.
See,
Random is now
I
V.
don't know how they interrelate. That's my issue.
What do you mean interrelate?
Like, I don't know why moving that has changed things.
So it's changed things because V is now, when you're putting that random in, that's an array as opposed to a singular value.
Okay.
So you're only comparing a singular value with this statement.
Okay.
So if you're trying to compare
All of them.
all of them at once to 0,
Mm.
you can't do that in a single line of code.
Okay.
So doing it this way means you can pass in your array and it will go through your array again. And this time it will check each one. So instead of V here, this is going to have to be I.
So what does for I, do again? For I does.
So for I in range. So
So and then the range is the random because the V is the random. So it's saying for I in this array.
yep.
If I, what was the I again?
I is going to be from 0 to 5. I is going to represent each index of the array. So
that's each number.
Yep. So
because it's an integer.
yep.
Right?
So I will represent the index and what's held by that index.
Yeah.
So it's going to represent 5, then it's going to be 6, then it's going to be negative 69, then it's going to be 89, and then it's going to be negative 4.
Yeah. Okay. So def sign. Okay. So if I'm going through this, then def sign equals V. V is random. I can't remember why, but that's the case now.
Oh, because of that line there.
Sign random.
Because I decided to stuff you up by passing random to it.
Okay, but when we said random, but how come it's V? How do we know that it's V?
So V is just a placeholder. So everywhere there's a V, there's whatever you've passed it in here.
Whatever we put in the sign there. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
in
A
those
placeholder.
brackets.
Okay, yeah, I get you now. Okay, now I understand what a placeholder is.
Yeah.
I sort of clicked it. Okay, so def sign V, so that's taking in the whole array.
Yep.
For like the number inside that array is basically what that's translated to.
Yep.
Equals
For each
so,
one. Yep.
Yeah. So if one of these integers is greater than 0, print that, else print no thanks, man. Okay, now I get you. I'm there.
Yep.
I'm
And I'll
so
just,
there.
Now I'll just comment this one out.
Yeah.
Edit. And then we'll just move that up a little bit. bring these closer together. And drop the usage of sign under here. And just take these both back.
Why do we have to take them back so it's on its own thing?
Yeah,
And it's
so
not
that they're not operating within
something.
Because we can see see those little lines here.
Yeah, they represent the.
They
the
represent
different-
the size of everything contained within that function. If this was C, and I wish it was, I'll just put in the you'd put parentheses everywhere, and parentheses would tell you where a function begins and ends, as opposed to in Python where you could put print here, but as soon as you accidentally tab it that way, it's suddenly inside def, inside the function.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a tough language,
That's okay.
but it's also an easy language because we've gotten away with passing
It's
an
tough
array
because you want
like
it to be
that.
harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want it to be more rigid,
So
but it's just so
let's
flexible.
go Control Save and let's run this.
Yep, and it should have the same result.
Sweet.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. I get it.
If you hit a logical point, it'll take 15 minutes if you want.
What was that?
If you hit a logical breakpoint.
Yeah, this is probably a good
Okay, cool.
breakpoint.
I'm gonna
From
need to
here
let
it
this
gets a lot
marinate.
more interesting. Yeah.
So guys, I think we'll take a quick 15-minute breather, let all that soak in,
Oh yeah.
and we'll jump back on at what, 8:05?
Yep.
Sound good? Awesome. Well, I hope you guys are following along okay. That's pretty cool. Well, I'm pretty lost with it, but that kind of made sense, that last little description.
But I don't have a break video ready.
Alright,
Righto.
come back in 15.
Is that okay so far? Cameron?
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's good. So sorry, you were trying to get up a break video, were you? Oh, we're just gonna get up something to watch for you guys whilst we've got the break, so you know when we're back. I
Probably
guess.
a monkey. Just
How do I send
clapping
you?
the
How do I
symbols.
send you an IRL?
URL? Well, hang on.
A URL, yeah.
What?
How do I do that?
How do you send us a URL?
Yeah, like your computer specifically.
Oh, just send it via email, I guess.
Why are we doing this?
Never mind.
We should come back in 15.
We'll come back at 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get out of here. It's just not gonna work.
It's not Wednesday yet.
Thanks, everybody. Sorry, we've had some technical difficulties. Really appreciate everybody who's bearing through this. Obviously, we're in our infant stages of trying to stream online, so this is honestly our first run through. So next month we'll have it up and going. But thanks for all your patience, and we want to get stuck into it again. Yeah, it's kind of like a startup. We're just trying to figure out how to do it as we're doing it. So without any further ado, I guess we'll just jump straight back into it. What do you think?
Sure. All right. So we have all the basics covered now for writing any script, really, any programming language. Every programming language, this is the core. Python, because it's object oriented, then moves on into classes. However, as do most modern programming languages, classes are a whole different kettle of fish. They're like functions in that they can execute particular code at particular times when you call upon them, but they can also be replicated. So, like, you can have one function that just keeps getting called, and you have an army of that function at some point. You just keep producing that same set of functions. But it's most useful for defining groups of objects. So, for instance, it's probably best to think of it like either cars or animals, which would you prefer?
Animals.
Right. So class is like mammals, and then within that class, you can say which animal are we talking about.
Yep.
Whether that would be dog, cat, human, etc.
Yeah, armadillo.
Yeah. And then what functions they do or how big they are can also be defined in that class, and that's its attributes. And what it's called is its name is an attribute.
Okay.
And then you've got a constructor.
So hang on. So if class is mammals, definition is the individual species.
Yep. So a cat is of the mammal class.
Yep.
It's an object in the mammal class.
Yep.
And so is a dog.
Yeah.
And then they'll have different things about them, but they'll still all just be mammals.
Yeah.
That's the prototype.
Yeah, so that's the class, but what's the def? The def is...
So the def, which is how you write a function, as we've discussed before. A def in it is how it comes to life, and you tell itself to come to life and its attributes. So, for instance, its name, what species it is, etc.
Right.
So dog, how many legs it has, everything goes in there, and then you have other functions within it as well if you want it to do a certain thing like eat, drink, drive a car, etc.
Yeah.
So some more down to computing classes. The pre-built classes from Pygame, we have the keyboard, the screen, and actors. So all our actors on our stage that we'll create when we actually get around to making Pong, they all start their lives as just PNG files. You know what a PNG file is. It's just an image.
Okay.
Yeah, and it can have a transparent background and then hover over things in the background, etc. So it's a really nice file to use. It's just bigger. The screen is how we'll define our stage for our actors to be on. And then keyboard is how we'll read inputs from the keyboard.
Okay.
So let's dive on in.
Yeah, okay.
It's gonna be pretty difficult, this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems so easy.
It gets strange real quick.
Yeah.
I'll have to quickly bring up my notes as well, just because it is so strange. So, start with, we will...
You just want to just chop all of this?
Not chop all of it. Some of it will be useful later on.
Righto.
But we'll just move it out of the way.
Cool.
Until you kind of just can't see anymore. You know, just like that.
It's
Yeah.
gone. It's out of view.
It's still there somewhere.
It's there on the right, you can see it.
Shh. It's only a model. So with Python, core Python doesn't include the actors and so on. Doesn't include all those classes that we're going to start using. So we'll have to first import them. So we import PG0, which is what we installed via the command line.
You can either list more inputs, so we also want PGZ run, which is another, it was also included with the PG0 package.
Okay.
That will, instead of writing it as Python, you'll be running it as PGZ run, and then the name of the file.
Right.
So these just allow us to access other Python files that have already been written, and those will contain classes and everything else. And using the import, we can access them.
Right.
So we won't directly edit them,
Yeah.
but we'll be pulling stuff from them and using those bits and pieces.
Okay.
I've tried to keep it as minimal as possible in comparison with the original thing. That they pull a hell of a lot more than we're going to use, because we just want to make a basic POM as quickly as possible. We also want a Pygame module, which is part of what Pygame 0 is based off. And Pygame is the translation between Scratch and Pygame is apparently really simple. Scratch, which you skipped in your programming language learning, is like, because it's visual, you can see where everything clicks together, as opposed to this becomes a little bit more abstract.
What are you doing?
Yeah, because you're now having to name and define things and,
For sure.
and type things yourself.
Yeah.
All this information.
And normally you don't have to.
Well, not normally you don't have to. When you're younger or when you're learning code, you start at scratch because it's everything's like plug and play. You can put things where you want them to be, and you can see how loops are formed. It's very visual.
Okay.
Yeah, as opposed to when we hit an IDE, where things suddenly it's all text and just swathes of text.
I'm feeling more like an IED at the moment. It's just
You wait.
in pieces.
Always web dev. And then we'll also import some things from the Python core, such as math, SYS, and random, because we want random numbers. So it's that's a Python file that creates random numbers, because we're not going to make it ourselves, because we're not there yet.
No.
I don't think. No, not yet.
Okay.
And then there's another class, another data type we're going to import. It's a strange one. It may come up as an error because sometimes you have to import it yourself or install it yourself, called enum. So remember how with all the way back to our statements and variables, how a variable held a number?
Yes.
Enum's the opposite way around. A
So
number holds a variable, or variable, they're mainly strings. So, for instance, in this, we're going to have three different enum with three things in it. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. First one's going to be menu, second one's going to be game, and third one's going to be something else. Can't remember what it is.
Miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous, some description. And that's an enum helps us build a state machine. And a state machine. So with our code, we've noticed that it's very sequential at the moment. You notice it runs through, does everything.
In order.
Doesn't do anything else.
Very
Doesn't really
generally.
make any other decisions.
Correct.
Yes. With a state machine, if this happens, it's like a giant series of if statements.
Right.
But doing it with a for and enum makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
And you kind of stay with a little loop inside each state until you've done everything in that state.
Okay.
And then you move to a different state.
Right.
And then you eventually end up back in whichever state you want to be in. Yeah. So we've got our input enum, we've got our P0. Now we're actually going to use something that we've used before.
And so is all that stuff already imported?
Yep.
By doing that, or do you have
So-
to run it somehow?
Now it's imported. As
Sweet.
soon as we call it like that, it's imported.
Okay. Cool.
And they're all Python libraries. So these ones are actual Python libraries. These ones are all come from Pygame 0.
Right.
It may give us a problem if it doesn't recognize enum, and then we'll have to look at how to include enum.
Okay.
So
So we're ready
Pygame.
to make magic happen.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
we're gonna make magic happen right now. We're gonna make something that is there that you can see. That
Perfect.
it's useful
Yep.
as opposed to being these abstract if stems, etc.
Exactly.
So we're gonna start by drawing a background
Cool.
and drawing a game.
Yep.
So our game, once we get past everything, you get down to object classes. Just here, as you can see, anything to do with screens and programming, X, Y gets flipped. It's now on the top. 0, 0 up in the corner. X ends over there. Biggest values of both are over here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just accept it.
just accept it.
Just accept
You
it.
can't win. So in this case, ours is going to be 800 by 400.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to create two global variables. Now, global variables, these are also global variables.
Okay.
So you see how they're...
And what constitutes global variable?
Global variable means we can access it anywhere. So you see how it's in Inksman,
Mm.
and this is a function,
Mm.
where you can also just say print number, if I can spell number correctly, and it will print that, it will print number. It will print number. It's accessible to anything in the program.
Okay.
However, if we define a variable here, it's not so much a good example with the functions, but yes and no. So with functions, we can define a variable here, or we'll just call it temp equals 13. But then if we try and access temp out here,
It doesn't work.
doesn't
It's
work.
above it.
It's
But
only
it's not a global
inside.
variable.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's a local variable.
Yeah.
And that's same thing applies to objects and classes when we actually make one of those.
Makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah, explain it like that. I like that. It's good.
So if I can spell height correctly. Height was going to be 400.
Yep.
And our width,
800, wasn't it?
yeah, 800. Why am I doing this? You should be doing this program.
Yeah, let me do it. What's
Oh,
happening?
alright. I don't know. Look over. So the other useful numbers we also want probably half height and half width.
Right.
So
screen
you can
size.
you can define a variable for those, preferably half height and half width.
Where am I doing that? Here?
Just here, yeah.
Here.
Yep. To store half height and half width.
Store half height and half width by creating a variable.
Yep.
And so the variable again, what did we have to type to start with?
Whatever your variable name was.
Whatever the variable name was.
Yep.
I mean, like whatever we want to call it.
Yeah,
Personally.
yeah.
Okay, so
Preferably half height and half width.
half height.
Probably all in caps. If
Do I have to make it one word?
Yep.
Okay. Half height, and then another one.
Yep.
And then half width.
Yep. So we perform an operation here.
Okay.
So-
So open heart surgery. Let's go. So
Oh, it kind of is. Actually, let's make it height 480. Sorry. 480. 480. Yeah.
that's 4,080. We're gonna have some big height there, man.
All right. So half height.
Okay, and then half width. We're going to go equals as well.
Yep. Equals. We're going to perform an operation. And
Okay.
What operation would get you half of the height and half of the width?
It would be dividing,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So do we have to just
Yep.
use this sign,
Yep. And what are you going to plug in there?
and then we're going to put in the number, so the height. So we're going to put in height.
Almost. Very close there. I'll just put in two comments to see quick. So, I need 3. So think of it this way. That's a divide there, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
So height going to be divided by
Yeah.
Like
so
2.
3 divided by 2.
right.
Yep, that's right. But
Height.
also in this case, we don't want those to come out as strange numbers. Not that they will, because our height, half height and half width are even, so
Yes.
that'll be fine. But if they're an odd number, like if it was 801,
Right.
we'd come out with something that's not an integer.
Yeah.
And because we're going to be working with pixels, you can only really work in ones.
Integers.
Yeah. You can't really have half pixel.
Yeah.
Doesn't really work. Computers aren't happy with that. Trying
No.
to display that gets a bit messy.
Yeah. Okay.
So we just double divide it.
Why?
And that will either, I think it's round down.
Ah. Okay. Cool.
Yep. So we'll
Perfect.
divide it and round it down.
But we're not doing 811, or are we doing it for this example?
Yeah, we will.
Okay. Cool. So then
Just in
half
case you
height.
decide to make it like 951 something.
By
in
the
future.
way, this should be width, not height.
Yeah.
Okay. Page width, and then this is height.
Yep.
Divided by then 480. No, by 2.
Yep.
also by 2. Cool. Now what are we doing here?
Now we're
Why are we doing double there?
just in case.
Just in case. Okay, so it's a
Just-
precautionary measure.
Always a precautionary measure.
Okay. More about the precaution.
And now we're also going to define two more global variables.
Okay.
One's going to be the speed of the players, how fast they can move up and down, how x-axis. How fast they move up and down our y-axis.
Okay.
These two lines here represent where our bars will be.
Yeah.
So you've seen Pong, you know
Yep.
what it looks like. It's
Mhm.
just two bars move up and down. So they will. We're going to have a variable to describe how fast they move on the screen. So Pygame, it operates in frames. It tries to run 60 frames per second at all times. So we'll be controlling them by how many frames they're moving each second, out of that second, so to speak. So 6 will move at 6 frames per second. No, it's
I get what you
6
mean.
frames in a second
Yeah.
out of 60.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were going to want to call that maybe player speed.
Player speed.
And if you're really uncomfortable with how your variables look, so long as it's still all one word, you can put an underscore.
Yeah, okay, I like the underscore thing. And then we're making that something equal.
And 6. Let's just go 6.
6. Cool.
And we'll also make another one in case we make an AI, and we'll call it the max AI speed.
Max AI
Who knows?
speed.
Yeah. And you can make that more than the play speed if you want to. It may run.
What sort of sensitivity is that?
If you put that at 12, it will be. You're really giving them the advantage here.
I'm giving them the advantage.
Yeah.
Why?
You've told them that they can move faster.
Oh, that because
That's going to be their speed.
Yeah, well, I like a challenge, man. So
All right.
that's what I'm about.
And now our functions from before.
Yeah.
So our sign function, at the moment, it's not exactly useful to us in the form.
No.
It is. Look, you're rising as just 7. Instead of outputting or printing words, that's not going to be helpful to us.
No.
So we want just to return the sign. And in this case, instead of, you can't really return a sign, so to speak, but you can return positive or negative 1. And that will be sign in computing.
Okay, so are we just getting rid of print, or are we just putting something different as to the words in there?
So we'll get rid of print.
Okay.
And we'll just put in return positive or return 1 or return negative 1 in each of those locations. And returns all lowercase.
So return.
Yep.
-1.
Yep.
Get
So
rid of
that
these.
can return minus space 1. If you want it to return -1,
Cool. And then here we're doing return +1.
Yep.
Just 1.
and we also need to change it up a little bit. At the moment, we've still got for I and V, so we're still pretending that we're going to be passing in an array. This time, we're not going to be passing an array. We're just going to be returning, giving it a single number to evaluate at a time.
Okay, so we're getting rid of the array.
If not the array, we're just getting rid of
The V.
the for.
4.
So the for loop is generally almost always used for jumping through arrays, and that's it. That's the only purpose of the for loop. The easiest way of stepping through an array.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's gone. Cut it. Didn't make it.
Didn't make it. Didn't make the cut.
We tried.
And you notice we've still got I in here, but our function definition, our function placeholder is V.
Yes.
So we might need to change that as well. You can make it whatever you like.
Change the sign.
Change the placeholder. So here we don't have anything else defined anywhere.
What do you mean?
That is I.
Oh,
What
right.
is I?
Okay. I don't know.
What is the self?
I don't want to get into this. I'm gonna start. I feel like if I dive into that question any further, I'm gonna see like the back of my own head, and then
Just turn around.
yeah.
Right. So we want it to be a placeholder again, instead of being this useless or weird variable.
Okay.
So we want to call it.
So sign, and then we turn it and we call it I.
Well, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, that's an easy way. That's a nice way. The only problem is we like that I stepping through all loops.
Okay.
So you could choose any other letter, or you could choose a name. You could choose a fruit, vegetable,
Fruit or a vegetable.
or a vegetable, or both.
You know,
You
I
could,
think
this variable could be as long as you like.
avocado. Let's do it, because who knows? Is it a fruit or is it a vegetable?
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
don't know what it is.
All we know is that we'll never own a house. And as always, an avocado is greater than 0. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And it returns 1. Yeah. It's not a bad function.
Yeah, that's good.
Right. We're happy with that.
Yeah.
We don't need any of this stuff. We can get rid of that.
Yeah.
Not the ASP. Now we're going to create another function and just delete everything else we did because it was lovely, but we don't actually need it anymore.
Okay.
And this function, it's a little bit weird. It's going to return us a unit vector.
Okay, what's that?
So I don't have described in the slides, but it turns. So think of a Pythagorean triangle, right? Or just a right angle triangle.
Yeah.
So you can describe that this slope with an x and a y, and that tells you the hypotenuse. So we're going to be writing a function. I'll tell you how to write it because it's too late to figure it out.
Okay, let's just tell me how to write it.
That will return us a unit vector, so we can use that to move pixels.
Okay.
And again, we don't want to work in halves or quarters. We make it nice and as round as possible.
I'll figure it out later. Let's just write it. Let's just
Alright.
build it first and then ask questions later.
And we're going to call it normalized.
Normalized.
So start writing a function.
Function, like I did last time.
Like avocado, the avocado function.
Okay, so like I've got to do a sign.
Def,
Def.
and we're going to call it normalized.
In bracket though.
No, not in brackets. The avocado is in brackets because it must be protected. But no, normalized. So avocado is the input for the sign function. You want to get rid of that space, otherwise we'll have that error we had last time where it didn't recognize it.
Yep.
So in the bracket we're going to have 2 inputs, and it's our Pythagorean, or a right angle triangle inputs. We're going to be describing it with an x and a y value. So that's what we'll put as inputs.
Okay, so
We'll
like
go x and y.
X and Y.
It'd be nice to do it that way, but then we're passing it as an array. So we can do it like this, because a function can have multiple inputs.
Okay, cool.
We'd even pass it as z if we want, but it's not really useful to anyone.
Righto. Okay,
Then
now
what else do we
What
need
we're doing.
to finish defining the part of that part of the start of the function? Missing one thing,
Not the semicolon.
or the colon, unless I can't see it on the screen. Oh, there we go. It's
There
better.
we go. It's there.
Right. So length. Next line, sorry.
Is that a colon or a semicolon?
I think it's a colon.
Okay, let's just keep it at that.
So length, a variable called length,
Length
is equal
is equal to
math
math
dot
dot.
hypot, H-Y-P-O-T.
Jeez. Be a cool rapper name.
Yeah, pretty blunt.
Alright, let's go.
And then brackets, step
Brackets.
backwards one, there, just, yep. And x, comma y.
X comma Y.
Yep, so that's taking in our x and y that we passed as placeholders
Right.
and storing them as,
Length.
it's determining the length of the hypotenuse.
Oh, hypotenuse.
Yep.
Okay, I get you now.
And then next we're going to type return.
Return.
Whoop. Next line, sorry.
Return.
Yep.
But I've got to go back into, because it's not in the thing, right?
Fixed.
There we go.
Return. Yeah. No, it's an N. Dumb.
What are we returning?
So we're going to return, it's going to be weird, x divided by length,
Mm.
and we're also going to return y divided by length.
Okay, cool.
So that is now returning 2 unit vectors that we can use to multiply other things.
Yep.
To make things happen.
Right.
All right. Now we'll also do 2 more functions, and these
Mhm.
will be for controls.
Sweet.
So def, and we'll start with player 1 or player 2. It's up to you.
Player. Oh, do they have to be player 1, player 2?
Oh, well, what else do you want to call them?
No, it's true. Player 1,
And
giving him a sign.
doesn't get any inputs. This one,
No inputs.
no inputs,
Righto.
but he still needs the brackets,
Still needs the brackets.
Yep. and he still needs a colon.
It's high maintenance, man.
I know, right? But he doesn't need any inputs.
That's true.
Well, it's low maintenance, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
And we turn move equals 0.
Move.
Move equals 0.
Move equals 0.
And then a new one. If
If
keyboard space keyboard,
keyboard.
which was imported up here, it's part of Pygame,
Right.
and we're going to do dot .m.
So we're just pulling it in.
No, sorry, dot .z. We'll go dot .z. Sorry, space.
Space there.
Yep. Or.
Or
So this is again one of the nice things about Python, because this is going to make it's an almost natural language. If this or that, yeah. So if z or keyboard dot down.
Dot
down,
down.
and then colon,
And then colon.
and then enter. So both of those statements will evaluate as true. One of them will evaluate as true or false because they're conditions. So that tells us, so A, keyboard is a class. It's one of those things. And in it, it's got a character called Z.
Okay.
So keyboard will refer to our keyboard. And if Z is held down, there's going to be an if statement in this class somewhere. If Z is held down, this will return true. If down is held down, it will return true. If they're both held down, it will still return true. If neither are held down, it won't do whatever we're about to write. Move equals player speed. And you'll notice it's come up there.
Yeah.
So you can either click it or you can press enter.
Yeah, okay, cool.
We're
Move
going to
equals
do
speed.
under that, you're going to step back one tab backwards, and elif keyboard dot a space or keyboard dot up and in that all not spaces. This is the argument about tabs or spaces. Spaces you can use in every other language. Python likes only tabs. Most programmers only like tabs. Programmers who use spaces are usually crucified at some point in their lives by their colleagues.
Right.
Yep.
So we do a move.
Yep. Move again, and we'll just put minus player speed equals minus player speed. So minus and then player speed. There we go.
Do we have to have a space or no space?
No space, because we want to be negative multiplied by that in this case. And then we'll need to go back in, and underneath this, underneath if the elif, but still within the player.
Yep.
One more enter, just so you recognize that they're separated.
Yep.
Return move. So what that function is going to do is when it's requested, it's going to set move to 0, and it's a local variable, which then gets access globally. That's not a problem. It's very weird.
So move equals 0 in its natural state. If the keyboard taps Z, or if it's tapped down, then the player will move at the player's speed, which is what we have defined as a speed of 6.
Yep.
So anything else, then it's negative the player speed, which is just going to take you back to 0.
Yep.
Cool.
And then
So anything else other outside that if statement will just
return 0.
cancel itself out.
Yeah. Just skip that and move on.
Yep.
There's no else.
Cool.
Else, we could add an else, but it's almost obsolete because we've always said,
definitely, isn't it?
because we've set move up here to 0.
Yeah. Cool.
Good with that.
Yep. Sweet. Okay, that
Return,
makes
sorry.
sense now. So I kind of see once it's written, I'm like, okay, now I understand why that's that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And then we've got to create a player 2. So what we'll do is just copy and paste this.
And then we just change it from def to player 2, essentially.
Yep, so we'll just play player 2.
Bang, done.
And then we're also going to change the keyboard controls.
Why?
Otherwise, player 1, player 2 are using the same keyboard controls.
That'd be tricky. Okay.
Which could be fun. And
So-
we're only going to use ones that are keyboard controls for player 2. And we'll relegate them to 2 keys on the other side of the keyboard. Probably K and M. K for moving up, which from our
K.
from our graph moving up would be going down.
So K is up.
So K is down. Sorry,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
K is down.
K and
Goes up.
then what? So K and what was the other letter that we were going to do? L.
M.
M.
Yep, K and M. So let me just check that. Keyboard the M is going to be player speed. Just remove this one. That one, that.
Get it out of here. Why?
Because X. Because we still don't want that because the same controls. Because if you notice if that stayed there, when in a 2-player game, every time the player 1 was using A or Z,
They move the other person.
and player 2 just decides to press up just to muck around with them, it would completely stuff them over.
Oh, okay.
Because then they have control over their players again.
Yeah, true. Okay.
I'll just put this in case bad things happen when we actually start writing stuff. We'll say that quickly. Still, we haven't really put anything screen. So we are going to get a whole bunch of errors though in problems if you go to this problems tab down here.
Mm.
See how it says undefined variable keyboard?
Yep.
That comes from the fact that we're not using Python's version of keyboard. Python's version of keyboard is different to
What would be
Pygame's version of keyboard,
Okay.
which is a bit silly.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So we just
we
save
have
it to get rid of
errors.
them.
No, we can't. Like we're stuck with those problems.
Uh,
We just need to recognize that these problems, they won't be a problem,
So
but
just
they will be a problem.
acknowledge the problem, allow it to be there,
Yeah.
and just tolerate the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We could fix this. I did try fixing this at home by saying from, I think it was Pygame import this keyboard. I think it's from. I think it's in keyboard. If it's not in Pygame, it's in one of those others. And
Oh,
that,
well,
that
another
fixes the
time.
problem, but it's not the best solution. Because when we run this, if we run this with Python, problems will be a problem.
Yep.
If we run with the PGZ run, no problem.
Okay.
So let's see if it's going to be interesting if we can get this to work. Because we're purely about to try and just go a little bit off script just to get something on the screen before we run out of time. So PGZ run is what we'll be using now to run our programs from now on, instead of Python. And then we're going to try and draw a background. Draw is a reserved word for this. So what we're going to do is def draw. Yep, and then the colon. And then, because this is where it does get a bit interesting. Screen.blit.
What fill?
No, not dot fill. We're going to do screen.blit.
Screen dot bullet as it sounds.
Yep.
Then we're doing two of these bad boys.
Yep. And we're going to also going to just above that enter. And we're also going to add another variable called menu image. Ooh, I'm adding it over there.
Menu image.
Menu underscore image.
Underscore image. Yep.
And we're going to press equals space
Space
Equals. parentheses in these ones. These ones.
Oh, okay.
Those things.
Yeah, I got it.
And then type menu.
Menu.
And then one arrow across.
That.
Yep, arrow across space.
space,
plus,
and
now we're going to be doing typecasting, which is interesting. STR, space STR, sorry.
space str.
String. So now whatever gets put inside the following brackets, once you put in 2 brackets there,
Yep.
is going to be converted to a string.
Double brackets, you said.
Yep. No, just a single pair. And we're gonna in those brackets we're gonna type num_players
Num_ players.
and then -1 space -1.
Space -1.
Right, and then quickly up the top.
Do I have to keep space in there after the minus?
Yeah. And then quickly up the top, we're gonna add underneath our other global variables. We're gonna have another global variable called num_players, lowercase, just like we've written down below.
So what am I writing?
Num_players.
Oh, okay. _players as well. Yep.
And that's going to equal 2.
Yep, because obviously.
Yeah, because if you go to 0 players, it's a bit awkward.
Yep.
And then back down in our string.lit, we're going to put in menu_image, which is we defined here. Yeah, inside our parentheses.
Menu_image.
And then outside, still in that same set, there's going to be a
comma.
Yep, space. And 0, inside another is a set of parentheses.
Like that. So like a little face.
But with the rest of the base. So hopefully, if we call draw underneath that and do pgz run, we should. We'll just add one more line. pgz run.go, which is another class in itself. This is where we're crossing the line into purely using this. Pygame 0 is what we're referring to, and Python won't like it because it's not in the Python library.
Okay. And
importing it will get confusing, but it will run when we do pgz run. Hopefully.
So save this and then try and run it.
Save this, and we're going to try and run it with pgz run.
Go to terminal. Right.
So not Python.
P.
We're going to do pgz run, and then pom space .py. That's right.
So got to go again. So it's frozen on me. What do I do?
So hopefully it's doing something. If nothing's happening, so you're not completely frozen. If you control X.
Oh, control X. Oh no, I'm frozen.
Oh, I'm frozen. Oh, okay.
No.
So what's our debug console say? Do we getting outputs anywhere?
No. No outputs.
Just problem 7. And we're not running at all. Alright, so it does mean we're going to have to... There's 280 lines of code, essentially,
Right.
in this program. And we are going to have to come back another time, I think, considering we're getting close to 9.
So
Finish
this whole thing just got... Wait, hang on. Something happened there.
Yeah, something, it finished doing something.
Okay, cool. PGZ run. Right? Pong.
.py.
.py.
Yeah.
Now go?
Yeah. So we will have to come back to this because we have a lot more lines of code to write, and we're just not going to be able to get anything for the moment up until we get the rest of those lines in.
Yep.
Going over budget already, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, for a first time, next month, it's just going to be... Here's where we are right now.
I kickstarted this project. I want my indie game now. Like, getting you guys are delaying.
So, look, this is where...
left out the microtransactions.
This is where we
I
are.
will point out...
That's where we're going to be next month.
We do. You have in your downloads if you followed from our file with the project source and Boeing. If you want to rush ahead and see how it all runs, if you navigate to this, open up your downloads, close the Classic Masters, and we'll quickly go over the deploying, and we'll drag the whole file to the desktop. What we'll eventually build, once we open it with the terminal, and probably navigate to there. Hopefully, if we do, I'm gonna have to be in my own terminal. Sorry.
That's all right.
File, new window.
Do we still have people in, Alan?
I can't tell. I don't. This hasn't been moving for ages.
Hmm? There might be two.
So
It might be just literally me and you, Phil.
oh, actually, will do. So this is what we'll eventually, after a lot more setting up, a lot more work. So there's our enum when we eventually get around to it.
Mm-hmm.
What we will have is this, and what do I call mine? Well, it's still called one. So the dot slash is.
And that's what you get, and it just pops up on your screen like that.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
That's
It will
pretty
just
cool.
Pop up, and then you either do 2 or 1 player. If you'd like to do K&M.
Oh.
Oh, what keys was it? A and Z? It was A and Z.
A and Z. Like the bank.
Sponsorship, please.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind some sponsorship dollars. I thought I was going to get you there for sure. I was like, there's no way this nerd's going to beat me. And then I screwed up straight away.
Well,
Oh, it gets faster too.
yes.
Is that something that we added?
Yep.
That it just...
What we will add in the future.
Oh, I thought that was the border.
And all of these are just simply PNG files. And you can also go online and find the Code the Classics PDF document.
Yeah.
And that will tell you how to build this the same way we're doing it, but they'll be adding extra stuff and beyond what we are. Because we're trying to make it as light, quick, and easy as possible.
Yeah,
Admittedly,
absolutely.
it's still going to take a week, another session.
Yep.
And that session we will be
But look,
heads down coding the whole time.
to be honest, I feel for a first time, let's address the elephant in the room. It was not a good first time, but that just means that our first session was rock bottom, and there's only one way to go from rock bottom. And what way is that?
Up the screen, which is
Yeah, but it
generally
depends on if
down.
we're doing coding as well. I was just about to say, is it going to be up or is it going to be down? So I'm starting to think that it's going to be down. So the only way from this point is down according to the screen functions of computers.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's really beautiful.
The deep pit of then understanding everything about Python and then being able to create games like this rapidly.
On a daily basis.
Yes. Well, not rapidly. It still takes time. You still make errors.
Yeah, but then you earn bulk dollars for it, and you're happy to make those errors because you're getting paid by the hour, you know. So I wouldn't be worried.
Do you know the fastest way into the industry?
Fake it till you make it.
Oh, okay.
What would you say?
I don't know.
Okay. Like I feel like the fastest way to the industry is just to lie on your resume, but I wouldn't recommend that. Because you're gonna get found out.
Is there anything you could recommend instead?
Other than faking it.
Where would you store all your projects?
Oh, I would store all my projects with Cypherlinks, to be honest. So I'd be going to...
Soon you'll have a project to store with Cypherlinks.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll have a project to store at cypherlinks.com. You know, can sign up for free right now to be able to store all of your cool coding projects. I'm not going to plug it, though. I wouldn't do that. But, you know, that could be a potential in future.
Oh, it's possible.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to get distracted playing this game all the time because I think it's fun. So let's call it 8 all, which we just ended on. And I think thank you for everybody who's still there. We know that it wasn't the best this time round, but next time, because I think we've nutted out all the kinks, next time it's just going to be straight in. It's going to be bang. There's going to be banter. There's going to be pizza for us. for you guys, if you order pizza at home too, then you can feel like you're here with us. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Thanks everybody. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you there.